on demand.
Good afternoon and welcome to WEFM's Midday News, brought to you with the kind compliments of Court St. Vincent Limited.
Switch to a ready cash loan today. Bring your loan to us and get 25% off your interest rate. Get flexible payment terms, fast approval, and a hassle-free service so you can do all the important things you need with ease. All you need is your ID, proof of address, payslip, job letter, and 2 references. Visit us in-store or apply online at www.shopcourts.com. Courts Ready Cash. We are ready when you are. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to WEFM's Midday News, brought to you with the kind compliments of Court St. Vincent Limited. I am your presenter, Rajiv Providence. First, on the local scene, 7 passengers that were on board an omnibus at Happy Hill Layu when it overturned on Wednesday have been treated at the hospital and discharged. Corporal 374 King made the disclosure during a call to WEFM's Traffic Talk program, where he noted that there had been 3 reported vehicular accidents over the 24-hour period, 2 of which required persons to be treated at the hospital. We hear more from Corporal 374 King.
We actually had 3 reported accidents for the period. 2 were in the Kingston district, the other were in the Lee district. 2 of those accidents were with injuries. As a matter of fact, one of the drivers in the Kingston district, he sustained mild injuries. He was taken to the Kingston General Hospital where he was treated and discharged. And the other one in the Lee district, where an omnibus was overturned. Several passengers in that omnibus sustained injuries, but the body was taken to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital where they were treated and also discharged.
That was Corporal 374 King of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force's Traffic Department. Last year, SVG saw an increase in reported motor vehicle accidents with 845 reported accidents. In 2022, there were 781 motor vehicle accidents reported on SVG's roads. Commencing this year, there will be year-round flights out of Toronto, Canada to the Argyle International Airport via Air Canada. Minister of Tourism Carlos James on Tuesday announced that the flights will begin on April 7, 2024. The announcement of year-round flights out of Toronto comes after a 2-year-long suspension of the airline's seasonal service to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We hear more from Minister James.
Year-round flights will now take place from Air Canada. After 2 years of suspended services from Toronto to St. Vincent and the Grenadines during the summer, we have successfully negotiated year-round service from Toronto to the destination. The summer schedule will commence Sunday, April the 7th through to October the 27th with weekly service out of Toronto. We negotiated and worked closely with Air Canada and also shared that responsibility with some of our sister islands, Grenada, and we collaborated to ensure that we had year-round service to the destination. Every source market, we will now have year-round service coming to St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
That was the Minister of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Sustainable Development and Culture, Carlos James. Air Canada is the flag carrier and the largest airline of Canada by size and passengers carried. The airline provides scheduled and charter air transport for passengers and cargo to 222 destinations worldwide. Still on the local scene, mini greenhouse parks are set to be established here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Minister of Agriculture Saboto Caesar, while speaking on Star FM's ULP Speaks program, said the establishment of these greenhouse parks at various locations will see young farmers be employed, who will then be trained in the use of the technology. We hear more from Minister Caesar.
I am advised by the technicians in the ministry that we will be establishing what is considered mini greenhouse parks in different areas. And I know that persons who are listening may say, well, we have in greenhouses, I want a greenhouse for myself. Well, we don't have a greenhouse per farmer, But what we are going to do is that we're going to establish whether 6 or 7 greenhouses in one area. We will employ young farmers to come in and understand the technology. We will provide all the assistance and the support as it pertains to production, as it pertains to marketing, so that these young farmers will be able to increase their production and have their goods marketed.
That was the Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry and Labor, Subota Caesar. Minister Caesar said that the ministry is aware that a lot of the methodology being used by farmers is dated and that they have invested over $1.5 million to provide hand tools and other equipment. He said this will also contribute to a decrease in the cost of labor as workers will be more efficient and effective. On to news in the region. Trinidad and Tobago's Minister of Health, Terence Dayal Singh, says there are no plans for fresh COVID 19 restrictions in the Twin Island Republic despite a rise in the number of cases. Minister Dayal Singh, speaking during an influenza drive, reiterated that shutting down TNT's economy by implementing restrictions, both pre and post carnival, is not part of the government's plan at this time. He said as it stands, the healthcare system currently has more than 200 beds allocated for COVID 19 patients, of which 13 are occupied. According to Loop News, TNT's health minister assured that his ministry was working assiduously to secure additional COVID 19 vaccines for the population. Minister Dayal Singh said that in June last year, the TNT government started to look at sourcing COVID 19 vaccines, knowing that their stock was going to expire in September. He said those negotiations are ongoing and they seem promising. The medical community in St. Lucia has bolstered its COVID 19 measures in response to a recent upsurge in the island's COVID 19 cases. According to Loop News, internal memos circulating on social media reveal that both clinical and non clinical staff at Tapion and Owen King EU hospitals are now required to wear face masks in all wards. Furthermore, employees exhibiting flu like symptoms are mandated to report to the emergency room for swabbing, with the medical facility covering the associated costs. Individuals who test positive for COVID 19 will be granted sick leave, ensuring they can focus on recovery without financial strain. Those testing negative are obliged to continue wearing face masks as an added precautionary measure. The heightened vigilance on the island comes on the heels of a recent announcement by St. Lucia's Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belmont George. On the international scene, Turkey and Iran have agreed on the need for regional stability amid Israel's war on Gaza. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says that he and Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi agreed to avoid steps that could threaten Middle East stability. At a news conference following a meeting between the two on Wednesday, Turkey's president said they had discussed ending Israel's attacks on Gaza. According to Al Jazeera, the two leaders had also agreed to continue cooperation against cross border threats. Turkey, which has been vocal in its condemnation of Israel's attacks on Gaza, has called for an immediate ceasefire and backed legal steps for Israel to be tried for genocide. Iran leads what it calls the Axis of Resistance, that includes Hamas, Yemen's Houthis, and other Shia Muslim groups in the region that have confronted Israel and its Western allies. Finally, in sports, there was a lot of hype surrounding the Australian Open encounter between Aryna Sabalenka and Coco Gauff, and both players delivered the goods. Sabalenka came out of the gate strongly, going up 5-2 in the opening set. However, Gauff showed her class by rallying back to take the set the distance before Sabalenka regained her composure to come back strongly in the tie-break. Gauff held her own for large swathes of the second set, but in the end, it was the 8 double faults and a first serve percentage of just 57% that ultimately proved the difference, with Sabalenka coming out on top. This has been WeFM's Midday News. I have been your presenter, Rajiv Providence. Join us again at 3 o'clock for WeFM's 3 p.m. news. WeFM's Midday News is brought to you with a kind compliment of Quartz St. Vincent Limited.
Get everything you need in one place. Great deals, best prices. At Quartz, you can find easy-to-use appliances and electronics, plus effortless furniture for every home at unbeatable prices. So get what you want now, pay now, or later with Ready Finance. Only at Quartz, bringing value home. Special conditions apply.